Hi, and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Lipstick with Neha. I'm your host, Neha Karina, and today's episode is basically on the invention of being entrepreneur of medical supplies. So I have my good friend, Christian Aboud, who will be joining us on Coffee and Lipstick with Neha right here, right now. So stay tuned. From doctor to entrepreneur, welcome, Christian.
Hi, thank you.
So tell us, who is Christian Aboud?
I'm a 33-year-old, recently graduated doctor, and I'm also the CEO of the Welfor Medical Group, which houses Welfor Medical, Health Direct, and Welfor.
What made you go into the medical field?
I've always wanted to be a doctor. I studied psychology first. I thought I was going to go into neuropsych, and just to help people. I was kind of afraid of medicine. But after I graduated from psychology in Florida, I decided to take it on. But I've always wanted to be a doctor.
How was your years being in med school? Compare, normally people would choose to go the path right after 18, and then you probably did med school at 24, 25?
Yeah, I started late.
So how was that grouping with that, coping with the youngsters, and then being 25 and starting, although you still had your degree? How was that feeling for you?
It was cool. It was very interesting to see a lot of the stuff that I had learned just being around, being in the working world, working with people over years, helped me a lot with more the practical side of things. And then I was paired with some incredible students who showed me, what it really took to actually absorb medicine in a really holistic way and make it your life. So I was able to help them in sort of the practical people, dealing with people, dealing with patients sort of thing, and they encouraged and helped me be more studious and really absorb medicine as a whole
Holistic
world and a whole language. Yeah.
How do you feel now being graduated, and then you ended up into this whole Welfor Medical? What was your feeling like? Because I see you have expanded within this year, within opening another branch of Welfor, and just keep expanding. How is it feel right now?
Well, Welfor was actually started back in 2017, and one of the things that was happening is while I was in medical school, I was sort of seeing the things in the medical field that need a little bit more refining. It needed a little bit more streamlining, if you would say. There were gaps in our medical care in various aspects of it. So I saw the opportunity to start Welfor. And originally what Welfor was supposed to do was supposed to have a branch to deal with medical supplies and equipment. That I realized that we had a lot of gaps in supplying the medical equipment for Trinidad and Tobago, and the other side was supposed to be helping patients be organized and managed. What it evolved into was having three separate branches of Welfor, or a family of companies rather. Welfor Medical being the parent company to Welfor Biomedical, which would supply the general market and the hospitals with equipment, and Health Direct, which would now be this sort of backbone for patient management and healthcare management, assisting patients in getting the right procedures, making sure they're organized. So it grew into a lot more. And there's a third part of it, which is Welfor, which deals with health in the workplace and the home, mold and mold treatments, disinfections, and HSC management. Preventing infectious disease from person to person.
Right.
That kind of language. So. Welfor was started in 2017, but it certainly took shape right before COVID came. We started to really take shape.
Did you see an advance in your business when COVID came, opposed to normally, the norms of, medical care, people are afraid to go to medical places, doctor's office. I have spoken to a few doctors as well, and they said that they have decreased in clientele opposed to before. Do you see that happening with supply and demand?
Well, of course we saw an uptick in medical supplies. Everybody needed things like masks and hand sanitizer and disinfectants, and we were selling that from before, so we did see an increase in that. I think any medical supplier would have told you yes. We hadn't started the clinic then, so we didn't really see too much of a change in that because it wasn't started. But Health Direct, which was this sort of thing where patients could actually see doctors remotely using telemedicine or see doctors at home, that did see an uptick, and rightly so, because what it did was it helped protect the doctor and it helped protect the patient.
Right.
Simple things like they can call in, they could do COVID-19 screenings through the checkup app. So that did see a bit of an increase, and I was pretty happy about that, because that's what it was intended for even before COVID reached.
Now, since you have seen, what is your views right now, being that COVID-19 has taken place, where you have seen that a lot of companies are developing hand sanitizers. Hand sanitizers are endless of brands that is out there, but they are soapy hand sanitizers. They are hand sanitizers maybe have no alcohol at all. What's your views on the different brands of hand sanitizers out there, and how do you know which one is very effective?
So from that perspective, I think that there has been a sort of a misinterpretation of sanitization and disinfection.
Yeah.
They're actually different processes.
Yeah.
Sanitization brings germs down to a safe level. Disinfection eliminates germs.
Right.
And sterilization would eliminate everything. And that's the three differences. So hand sanitizer, at the time when the entire world was struggling to find these products, the government, so the EPA and CDC, really said, once something has 70% alcohol, you're safe, you're good to go.
Right.
So that was sort of the criteria that people were looking for. Because of that, you saw a lot of companies popping up with just pretty much selling isopropyl alcohol, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there was certainly that quick adaptation to form a brand of sanitizer. So you would get things that maybe didn't really have a refined formula, a little bit sticky, a little bit soapy, as you said. And for germs and bacteria, once it has 70% alcohol, it was pretty effective as a hand sanitizer. It just didn't make the clients feel as comfortable.
Let's talk about disinfecting of buildings such as mold and so forth. People never took that into consideration, cleaning of the environment, disinfecting, wiping down. Now everything is about that because of COVID-19.
Right.
Do you think that this practice now, you're spraying and so forth, do you think that people are not maintaining that after being one or two sprays?
Well, I think that's actually a very good question, and one of the things is bridging the difference between 70% alcohol for hand sanitizer and 70% alcohol for surface disinfectant. So 70% alcohol for surface disinfectant is effective. However, you're talking about chronic use. I mean, right now people are literally spraying their counters and their doorknobs 50 or 60 times a day. You know, every time they shake hands, they're spraying this alcohol, and aerosolized alcohol, and some of these, like Lysol, spraying Lysol on your clothes, spraying Lysol on your doorknob, it's gonna create toxic exposure after time.
Yeah.
It's gonna cause respiratory issues because these products are not meant to be used in the frequency that we're using them. Right. So that's why our company is geared towards providing a not alcohol-based, non-toxic disinfectant formula, while we still keep the 70% gel hand sanitizer. I think that the disinfecting of buildings and disinfecting of surfaces, all that's fine, but I think the chronic use with harsh and toxic chemicals can cause issues for us long term.
Let's talk about, in terms of sanitization as well, simple things like, you know, they say the 70% alcohol usage and so forth. How is it, what do you think is the way forward for that in terms of the formula with non-alcoholic base?
A non-alcoholic base, it needs a little bit longer to work. So for instance, if I am bringing some food home from the grocery, let's say, and I leave it on the counter, I don't need to spray that with Lysol. I would highly recommend that you do not spray that with Lysol, especially since you're going to be, you know, and there's not anything wrong with Lysol or any other disinfectant in that range, but you're talking about something that you may be interacting with to eat, and you don't want certain chemicals going into your system like that. So with quaternary ammoniums, which are what we sort of stick to for those sort of purposes, a lot of them are food safe. They take a little bit longer to work, so you spray it, leave it, and let it dry, let it, you know, evaporate, and it will protect you at the same time not providing toxic chemicals.
When it comes to, like, you know, people are saying we have social distances, COVID-friendly, social distances, COVID-friendly, we are maintaining the protocol. Do you see that really happening? Because I'm not seeing that happening much.
It's not happening.
Simple thing is, you know, when you go to a counter or when you go by entrance, you see the pump hand sanitizer. Everybody's still touching that pump, even though you're simply sanitizing.
So it's a curious thing because, you know, a lot of people say, well, you know, I'm hand sanitizing right after. Yes, the pump itself is probably full of germs, but it's a hard thing to comment on, realistically. We prefer the automatic units because you just put your hand and sanitizes without touching. But, I mean, not everybody can provide that, and, you know, you do what you can.
So what is your advice for people what is the real protocol? The reason why I'm asking this is that we need to keep repeating it over and over and over. What is the protocol for COVID, for a social distance friendly environment? Because parties are happening, they're getting ticketed, but they're still going to the parties. There are raids there, they're not listening, they're still having the weddings, they're having the social gatherings. How is the COVID supposed to be managed in such an environment to control it?
I think mask wearing is very important. I mean, there's a lot of panic now with this new strain, and people are saying you should double up on masks, wear 2 masks, and I'm not sure. It's so much to be unveiled. It's so much to be understood. More responsible opening and more heavy enforcement of social distancing, but not complete lockdowns. I think that may be the best solution. I definitely think that, you know, enforcing social distancing is a very hard thing, and that's not just in Trinidad, it's all over the world. But yeah, it is important to keep your mask on and have a good mask. A lot of people are purchasing masks that are posing as medical grade surgical masks, but they're actually just civilian masks that we use in China, or manufactured inexpensively, and they may not offer the best protection. They're not horrible, but they may not offer the best protection. Yeah.
What about in terms of people using gloves? They use it to go to the bank. I still see a lot of people using gloves.
Yeah, that's a practice of misunderstanding. Okay. You know, your hands can carry germs the same way the gloves can carry germs. The only instance where you would use gloves in any kind of environment is if you're disposing of the gloves right after you've interacted with that environment. That's why doctors use gloves. So you wouldn't use gloves to pick up money and then touch this and then type, and then it's not protecting your hands. Your hands are not absorbing bacteria or viruses causing COVID. So the use of gloves needs to be refined. And this is actually one of the things we focus on in Welfor, is that education. We offer a lot of training for businesses where we come in and train the employees, come in and train the employers about what are the real protocols. There's so much misinformation out there. So much so that, you know, Facebook and Instagram and these places have taken a stance on people spreading misinformation. And it's because there's so many people out there who just want to sell products. That they would pose misinformation, you know, and we take a stance on that. We obviously want our business to succeed, but we want to do so responsibly and with medical protocols.
Tell us more about your app. I understand that you developed an app in one of your tiers in your company.
Yeah, Checkup. So Health Direct is a patient management company, and really spawned out of me being in the hospitals and seeing that some patients were suffering not just from diseases, but also from the fact that they didn't have their files with them, they weren't taking their blood pressures every day, they didn't have that kind of reminder. So Checkup really was an app that allowed us to do remote triage, allowed us to remote check-in, and it was a free platform for patients to store their files and store their medical history. So I'm really, really passionate about what Checkup can bring. It's something that you can download for free, and you can upload your blood pressure and your blood glucose every day just to keep track. Look at graphs of...
So this is you giving back to the environment, basically?
No, but I mean, absolutely, but it's also inside of there is the opportunity for you to see a doctor. So it is a part of our business, but at the same time, it is a free patient healthcare management app. You can insert your allergies, the current medications you're on, your blood pressure, your blood glucose, and you can see trends over time, and your doctor can see them at any time. Your doctor can log in and see, okay, I see Neha has put in her blood pressures for today, it looks good, and make notes on it, and etc. So it really bridges that gap between the patient and the doctor. So Yeah.
So tell us now a little bit about you. What's up with you? Who are you? What are you up to? What type of food you like?
Working. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm a big food person. I've been involved in food for many years.
Okay.
I've helped my brother with his restaurant, Ioli. I've done some work when I was in university. I was a waiter at night, every night. So I used to go to school and they would work at night. I'm a huge foodie.
What's your favorite food?
I
You'll be biased if you say your brother's food.
No. Actually, his food is great. Sure. No, my favorite food is actually Trinidadian cuisine.
The cuisine, okay. So
Well, like Trinidadian spices, I would say.
okay.
Like I love like the way the Trinidadian jerk chicken, for instance, is one of my
You're
favorite
talking like a
foods.
foreigner just now, you know.
Yeah.
Like local spices.
No, because I mean, I've had the privilege of having food from all over the world.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick my favorite, I would still pick.
So you like your dumplings and your curry and your jerk and your bake and your macaroni pie. That's what you're saying?
Well, more towards like I really enjoy like jerk chicken, fries, that kind of style.
Fast food, eh?
Yeah, no, not so much fast food. And then obviously I have a more classic. If it comes to dining, my palate is more classic. Like I love the just a plain that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Desserts? You like desserts?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake, you're a cheesecake
Huge
fan.
fan of cheesecake. Yeah.
You have hobbies because you know you're always working.
I do have hobbies.
What is your hobbies?
Music.
Music? Okay.
Yeah. I've played music for many years. I used to play with some musical groups, and it's something that always brings me back.
Are you a guitar person? Or
Yeah, I'm a
keyboard?
guitar player.
Yeah, I can see it.
Kind of. Is it my fingers?
No. It's just like, you know, a lot of doctors will say, I'm a music person, and then 90% of them, they're either on the keyboard or the guitar.
Yeah. Yeah. I play a little bit of drums too, but I've composed mostly on guitar.
So how have you been able to balance your hobbies to your work?
Not well. No, it's been a very busy year. 2020 was a lot, and only when I got to the point where I literally just needed a break, I was able to like pick up my guitar and just kind of relax.
What is a day in the life of Christian?
It's a lot. I have a lot of fantastic people around me. My staff is unbelievable. Every single one of them perform exceptionally. So for me, it's a lot of it is just checking in. I mean, it's 3 companies, so you have 3 groups of staff, and I'm blessed to have people around me who are hardworking, who are ambitious. So for me, days are mostly just checking in on them, making sure things are in place.
Let's hear from the beginning. What time you wake up?
7:30, 8.
So you're a late riser for
Yeah.
a workload.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm often up quite late. Conceptualizing, working on
course.
documents.
So okay, you get up. You have coffee or tea?
Coffee,
With milk or without milk?
black. Yeah.
Black. Then what happens after the coffee? We're asking your day in life. You have to hear the whole day.
I spend the morning talking to my wife.
That's nice.
You know,
And then
spend a lot of
after
time
you
with
go
her.
to work,
Yeah.
and then you spend the whole afternoon in work.
Not talking to my wife, correct? Just working. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I spend the whole, pretty much the whole afternoon bouncing from business to business, and assisting, training, and working.
And your
on-
wife must be very supportive and proud of you.
Oh, she's incredible. Yeah.
She gives
yeah,
you breakfast and lunch and everything.
Well,
Does she pack your lunch kit?
She does pack my lunch. It's a Scooby-Doo lunch kit. She packs it in
Wow.
the, no, just kidding. No, she's extremely supportive. She's actually been my best friend for about 17 years. and-
Hashtag bestie.
Yeah, hashtag bestie, correct.
That's so good to see your compassion for family life and balance it with medical issues and so forth. So what's the future for you? What's going on with you afterwards?
Internship. Once things, and I think they're getting to the point where
You
I
can
have the
balance.
right people in the right places who are doing fantastic work. I really want to go back to what my passion is which is being a doctor. Obviously the company is a huge part of my future, but my day-to-day was always and will always be seeing patients.
What is it that you want to specialize in or
No,
you're passionate about?
I just want to do general practice.
Practice.
Yeah, I want to be, because general practice
That's
and
where
family
your heart
medicine it's so important, and
Yeah.
people underestimate how important it is. You know, people say, I have an earache, I need to go straight to an ENT, or I have some chest pain, let me go and see a cardiologist. The frontline GP, the family doctor, they give you such a holistic approach to you as an individual, even things like your family life, your psychology. People don't realize that family medicine is so important, it's so broad, to look at a person as an entire patient rather than just the symptoms that they're having. That's not a shot on specialists. Everybody's important, but for me, to being on the front line to care for a patient holistically.
That's the core of the whole family branch.
Yeah,
of
it's
medicine.
the first line. It's the first line.
It's the core. That's the branch of medicine, I guess.
Yeah.
So, any advice in future for young people who want to go into the medical field, and for safety protocol, and why they should really do everything by the books within our age to protect themselves?
Yeah, I think we're living in very confusing and trying times, and I think patience and communication are extremely important. I think that over the next year things should change, things could get better, things could get, I don't want to get used to this.
Do you see the future of the borders opening?
Yeah, absolutely. I would hate to think that our younger generation is getting used to this whole thing where I have to sit in my room all day and play on my computer and not be able to socialize, not be able to go out. So be patient, you know, follow the rules, follow the doctor's advice, follow our international and national rules for COVID-19, but be patient and make sure you check in with the people around you. The mental health crisis is next. We're now on the sort of tail end, hopefully, of COVID, and next is going to come the devastating effect on the economy and the devastating effect on the mental health of people. So keep in touch with people, look out for them, and make sure everybody's okay.
Thank you so much for coming and joining me on
Thank you for
Coffee and
having me.
Lipstick.
Pleasure.
Despite you're not getting any free makeup.
Well, I saw some, I saw some foundation that may do my skin well.
Thank you so much, Christian.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
That was such an interesting interview with Christian. I mean, from starting psychology, going into med school, doing from waitering to doing an entrepreneur, being a CEO of a company, putting your passion into it, and having that heart into developing different skills and mindset of putting medical supplies and medical treatment as a medical service in Trinidad and Tobago on the right track. So till next time, my advice to you is to grab a cup of coffee and stay tuned.